How is it that you actually get into local press? Hi guys, my name's Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl Lemon PR. We're a public relations agency based in the UK, USA, as well as Uganda. And here today, in day number 24 of 39 days of public relations training, we're here to talk about how to get into local press. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to 11 additional strategies that are not shared in this training. So look, fundamentally, when it comes to getting into local press, it's in some ways not too different from how to get onto local radio, which is day number 23. So please do go ahead and watch that. And we're going to build upon that so as to not make it just a repetition of training number 23. So assuming that you've watched how to get onto local radio, when it comes to local press, what I'd say fundamentally is that what's good about it, it's you've got like magazines, you've got newspapers, you've got local communities. So there's different forms of local press, which is what I want to impress upon you. It's not just the newspapers. It's, as I said, there's magazines, and there's probably even mini forms. You've even got like Facebook groups. So you can have like public interest groups, let's call it, because Facebook isn't the only platform. There's going to be even, I've seen Instagram pages that have got a big reach where people go in and talk about their businesses on an Instagram. In fact, my friend Amy, she's got Amy, Amy Joy. She's got a local community based in Barcelona, a lot of them, and then she gets people to come on and do lives on her Facebook. So that's another example. So what I want you to consider is, and again, a lot of this relates to what is the aim of getting into local press. So if your aim is, for example, exposure, then really what we're really talking, and when I say exposure, to generate, let's say, new business or new connections. So if it's like new connections, then local press is a bit different, for example, to local networking. If it's to generate business, then you also, like, local networking can become more important. So there are, local business networks, the local chamber of commerce, the Better Business Bureau. There's local Facebook groups, as I discussed. There's local LinkedIn groups. There's different communities that are centered around. So local can mean, specific interest, and it also can mean the local area. So you should look on all of the relevant platforms. I know that there's Instagram groups that just work on local community stuff and only talk, and they're not, part of newspapers, but they've got like a super active following. So there's a big argument that, well, you know what, that might be better than literal local press itself. So that's the first consideration that I want to impress upon you. And then naturally, the way you approach them does change. So if it's Instagram, then it might be on Insta. If it's Facebook, it might be on Facebook. If it's, local community and you are local, there might be someone that or that someone, a third party, second degree network that could give you access to the right person. So there's some considerations. So they would be the things that I think that are different when it relates to local press. And then, of course, it's a typical, write good emails, think about a local interest story, about something that's happening in the community, get inspiration by looking at the publications themselves and understanding based upon what they have already published and who the people that are publishing them are and what they're talking about. Like, have an understanding of where your angle comes in and why that angle would be meaningful to the local newspaper. And if you begin to think about all of these things, then you're just going to stand a greater chance of building, and this is the part I think that's also been missed maybe, but building relationships. So if you can build relationships with local press, so let's say also, for example, you work with local businesses, then getting them into the press. I mean, that's what we do as a public relations agency. And of course, we can help support you with that. But building a local relationship is going to be really valuable when it comes to other launches or other initiatives that you do that are based or have an impact upon the local area. So those would be the broad considerations that I think are meaningful when it comes to getting into the local press. Also, what's nice is that, you can identify editors, you can identify magazines, and you can send out email campaigns across to all of them and see what results that brings you. So there you have it. These are my additional ideas for how to get into local press.